Hi guys, we're out recording bats again. I've set up some Clippy Ultras right there, recording into a Zoom F3, and we're trying out a new improved method for recording bats. In previous bat recording videos we've been doing a lot of experiments trying to find out the best ways to record bats. So I've taken the best bits from those and put them together into a new format. I've realised we can pretty much record bats in any weather except for extremes, and the best place to record is by water, where there are trees surrounding it and where there are historic buildings which there are around us where the bats roost. From the experiments, we've always recorded bats in those conditions. In the early experiments, I recorded with different gain settings, recording into mono, and then afterwards I recorded in stereo. Now I'm going to revert back to recording in mono because the bats have two distinctive calls. They have their sonar, their echolocation, but they also have their calls. So on the Zoom F3, if we record one in 512, that's good for the calls. Then the echolocation is weaker, so if we record in 1024, that's better for them. Another important factor in recording bats, which we've learnt, is that the bats don't really come out until half an hour after dusk. So the point of recording in mono for each of them is because I want to isolate specific sounds. I want to get the hunting sonar where they're catching flies, and I want to get the different calls. I want to isolate them to use them in other things. And the recording settings are 32-bit float and 192 kilohertz for a really high resolution recording. I'm going to hang on here now, wait for half an hour till after dusk, I'll hit record, and then I'll see you back in the house. Hi guys, here we are, and before we head over to my screen, I just want to show you the recorder. Track 1 is recording in 512, track 2 in 1024. Now that matters, let's see why. Before we start, remember we're recording in two different volume or gain settings. Track 1 was 512, this is it here, it's quite bright, we can see lots of activity. Now let's go to track number 2. As you can see, there's less activity, and the only thing I can think of why the 512 registers more activity and seems to be at a higher volume is because when I was watching it, most of the bats were over to the left, and over on the left is where the 512 microphone was recording. So for now we're going to use track 1 to find a hunting sequence, and we're going to isolate it. So I narrow down what we can see here, I'll highlight it, zoom into it, click off, there. See this here? We got the sonar homing in on a fly, and when it gets to the fly, it gets faster. And we're going to isolate one of these, which I've already done right here. So we want to make this audible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight it, bring up the EQ, and remove everything up to 20 kilohertz. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it into the audible range, and we're going to use time and stretch. I'm going to use a stretch ratio of 400, and a pitch shift of minus 36. Let's do that. There we go. Let's remove that. Now this is in the audible range. I'm going to do something else here. I'm going to highlight this first section where there's no bat calls. I'm going to bring up spectral denoise, press learn, click into the screen and render the whole thing. Now we're going to play it. That's good. But it's a bit low. Now we're going to export it and open it up in DaVinci Resolve. So the top end of that is around minus 15 at best. So to make it louder and fatten the sound a bit as well, what I thought I'd do would be simply to stack them on top of each other. 2, 3, 4, and let's play it. Okay, that's to about minus 7. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to export this, load that up underneath these. So this is the combined audio of these 4 stacked up. Let's mute that. Let's get rid of that. Play. That's the 4 of them stacked up there. Now let's mute 4 individuals. Unmute that. That should sound the same. Okay, but I want it to be a bit louder. Let's unmute 2 of these tracks. So this is the 4 stack and 2 extra. Let's try 3. Four. I think we can go a little bit louder. That's it. Let's export that. Let's put that into Izotope. Here we go. Let's do another spectral denoise. Learn. Click off. Render. Let me get rid of this. Okay. Let's play. Let's have a look up here. It's averaging through the middle at around 8K. We're going to drop that another octave. So let's highlight it. Bring up time and pitch. 12. Render. I've gone the wrong way. Minus. So we've gone up 12, so 24 render. There we go. So the average now is about 4,000. Let's play that. Okay, let's go back a step because we've stretched it too much. So on this now there should be no stretch at all. It'll be as it was before, which sounded pretty good. Let's render that. There we go, 4,000. Let's have a listen. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that doesn't sound right, so we need to go back a step. Bring up the time and pitch. Let's put the stretch ratio down to the lowest it'll go. Press render. Let's have a listen to that. That's not right. Let's go back a step. Time and pitch. Let's try 240. Right, stop there. Go back. Time and pitch. This time 360. Let's try that. Let's go back one more time. Time and pitch. Let's try 500. Render that. Let's have a listen. That's better. Let's export that and open it up in DaVinci. Here we go. Let's give it a play. Let's double it up. Let's add another one. It's clipped out. Let's reduce the volume of that. Play it again. Okay, it's not clipped. It's gone up to about -1. Let's delete the front bit. Let's export that. Let's open that up in Izotope. Before we do it, this is the original one. Now this is the stacked one. It's a bit brighter. Let's play it. Okay, that's not perfect. I'd like more body to it, and I'll figure out how to do that. But for here, we've seen that we can fatten up and make those bat sounds a bit better if we stack them. And if we drop the pitch down a little bit more towards the 3,000 to 2,000 mark, I'm sure I can fine tune that, and once I do, I'll make a video on the whole thing. So the lessons we've learned here is that we don't necessarily need the high volume for recording, the high gain, because if the bats are not flying around that microphone, it makes no difference. And the volume gain of 512 here did absolutely fine. But then again, you don't know what's going to happen, and it still might be worth recording in 2 different volume or gain settings on the Zoom F3. I'm going to continue recording bats for now. We had a limited number of bats in this, only between the 45 and the 50 kilohertz range. And you know we've recorded in other ranges before, and also we've had a lot of interesting calls which we didn't seem to have in this one. I'll get that better in the future and figure out a really good way of processing it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.